G'day. This week it's all about camping etiquette or travel etiquette. Now if we adhere to some of these, or most of them, it's going to make our trip a whole lot better and our fellow travellers' trip a whole lot better. I definitely have missed out on some of them, so if you can think of them, please add them to the comments below and I'll make a future video about the ones I missed. Anywho, let's go. Good morning. Well, top of the morning to you. One of my pet loves basically about camping etiquette is the driving and the wave. About the Truckies Wave. Now you can call the Truckies Wave, caravanners, travellers, whatever you want. I call it the Truckies because a lot of the Truckies do it to each other. The real question is with your wave, do you do it? If you do it, do you just raise one finger or two fingers, half a hand, whole hand? I think it's great. Probably most suitable, from my experience, is out in the real long distances, or when you're really out of town and it's pretty obvious that you're an explorer, you're out there travelling. So typically, I mean, I'll wave to anybody, but the wave bit will be typical to caravan to caravan, caravan to camper trailer, any four-wheel drive that's got the max tracks or similar max tracks on the roof. Generally speaking, they'll give the old wave. I'm sure you know, there's probably not much point driving along giving the old the nod. I think at 100 kilometres each way, that's going to be nothing. Now what you can do is if you've got little kiddies travelling in your car, or even your partner, you can get them to count each time you wave, count how many people reciprocate. So that's a bit something to keep them amused, or do it yourself if you're that way inclined. But I think it's a great idea. Doesn't tend to work very well and is not used much inside towns, understandably, because otherwise you'd be waving to everybody. Yeah, I think the Truckies Wave is an institution. I think is a great thing. So if I'm driving the opposite way, almost invariably you will see me doing the old. And the other classic is sometimes if you don't, or if you wave, catch the other person out, they'll almost be past you and they'll be going like, sorry, I didn't wave. Anywho, that's just a nice way to while away the hours. What I have found, and I don't even understand what the system is, but mostly free camping, you'll go to an area that's absolutely pristine, which this is outstanding where I am at the moment. There's a massive amount of room. But for some reason, fellow travellers occasionally will just park so close to you. And this is the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't happen too often, but it happens enough to make a note of it. So I'm just going to give you an idea. There is no rule. I mean, you can park, 2 metres away from someone, or 15 or 20 or 300. There's no rule. But when there's a stack of room, spread out, enjoy. Everyone get to love it. I'll measure this guy. So measuring from the side of my caravan to the side of his, yeah, spot on 2 metres. Now I think, it doesn't matter where you are, 2 metres is just a little bit too close. And as I say, spread out, you know, go over there and the other one guy goes over there. Sometimes you'll see it when they're travelling in a group of people, yeah, no problems. And if all people agree that, oh mate, do you mind if I just park here? Because it's got the best view, I mean, the best view out of 100 best views. And if it's all agreeable, that's fine. Although don't forget, some people are, don't want to make a scene. So when you say, oh, do you mind if I park here, mate? And it's more than likely that they're going to say, yeah, that's fine. But deep down they're thinking, really? Look at the view. I'll give you a shot of the area in a minute, and then you'll get an idea of just how big this is. So, do the right thing. Now that video give you an idea of just how untidy you can be. Now, I'm not prejudging people, but it's amazing. If you keep your campsite tidy, you'll find that a lot of other people will think, oh, maybe that's the way I should do it. So yeah, keep all your junk inside your caravan or your car and use it. I mean, don't make it sterile. It's not a competition, and as I say, I'm not the tidiest person, but I do tend to keep a lot of my stuff in the caravan. You see over my shoulder there's on about half a dozen different campsites, and they've kept all of theirs tidy. And what's happened, there's a lot of people in this big campsite, and what tends to happen, as I say, it catches on. People think, oh, better keep it a bit tidy. So yeah, try and keep it neat if you can. Now I don't really think this needs to be discussed. However, if you're pulling the side of the road, and I'm sure you would, have your cup of coffee, have your sandwich, whatever, a couple of lollies, a McDonald's, whatever. But, you know, really, I don't think we need to leave all of our rubbish on the side of the road. And as I say, I'm sure you don't. Now I know what some of you women may be thinking, Paul, you revolting little man. But hear me out. The reason I want everyone to leave the toilet seat up almost all the time is, male or female, when you're walking into the cubicle, if that seat is closed, the last thing you want to do is open up the seat to be viewing an absolutely revolting image. Now we're talking about etiquette still, not about safety, although there's kind of a bit of a mix in that. You may recall recently I bought this rake. I thought it was a great idea. I think it cost me $5. And if you didn't want the inconvenience of all of that, just get the pole, the handle, take it out and just use it as like a big hand rake. Anyway, what I want to do here is just clean around the campfire. It doesn't have to be huge, but it's just good for both safety and the next guy that comes here. If he sees it all nice and tidy, he or she, they might hopefully do the same thing. And as you're cleaning it up, it also means if any wood falls out, then there's less chance of that wood causing a fire to creep along and then suddenly get out of control. Actually, while I'm talking about cleaning up and etiquette, just for the safety side of it, it's always a good idea to have some water around your campfire. And really there's pretty much no excuse for not having it. This is the bucket that I use for the drainage at the back of the caravan. So you can have that, and that water's not used for drinking or anything. So if you've got a couple of buckets, that would be handy. And make certain at the end of the day, end of the night, you say, I'll call it a day. Look down and say, oh, it's only just smouldering a little bit. Put it out. You've got, you know, up to 8 hours between you go to sleep and wake up in the morning. The wind could come up, you could get a gust and suddenly you're off. And apparently I was looking on Google, the amount of big bushfires that are caused by campers apparently is way too high. So don't be stressed out. End of the day, end of the night, put out your fire, you know you're done and dusted, you can start the whole thing again the next day. Now I'm in a fairly delicate situation. I need to tell you, I feel I need to tell you about this particular etiquette, but I also don't want to be caught hanging around toilets, so I'll make it quick. I'm not saying to do or don't to do it, but is it right that when some people go in there and they see a couple of spare toilet rolls, they grab them and off they go with their camping? It doesn't seem a right thing because, you know, they really should have the cash to be buying their own. And yeah, none of us want to get caught, which reminds me of a random tip. So when you are just about to use for facilities, do you first check whether there's sufficient toilet roll? I don't know. Here's a random tip for you. Quite some time ago I kept my this pillowcase I used for just storing things like the flappers for the awning and ropes and stuff like that. However, it's finally died. Not sure if you can see that, but so I called into a thrift store to grab a replacement. Not sure, it cost me $1 or $2 or whatever. So I can use that as a mopping up rag or a cleaning rag. And here's the new one I bought. Now, no guarantee it'll be strong enough, but this particular one's got sort of like a strong denim. So hopefully that'll last a while. That other one's lasted about 18 months, which is good. Yeah, so just ropes for tying down awnings, or you could use them for tying down the tent. Probably not a good idea to have sharp things in there, which I did. Ropes. I need to come up for another one because they're too sharp, and that's probably what ripped it anyway. It's a sand peg. More ropes. These other ropes I'll probably keep for spare in case someone's stuck and they need to borrow them. Otherwise I normally have the tent ropes I normally have in a double. So another spare rope I can loan to someone. This is handy, it just sits inside a tent and you can hang things off it, typically light. Never use it, but another couple of random tent pegs. And the last one of these. And there it is. Really quite handy, and I think it's a great idea, and because this time I haven't got any sharp things in there, it'll probably last a bit longer. Well, there it is, the dastardly place for dumping your various variouses, called the dump point, for those who have not been there a few times. And I'm pretty sure almost everybody I can think of despises it. And the reason I'm talking about it today is that if you're at the dump point, or if you're going to the dump point, don't call in and have a bit of a chat to some other guy, or pull up alongside and start chatting to him, because it might seem obscure, but it's rather a delicate thing when you're emptying into the dump point. So keep your conversations to other places, and I'm sure we'll all be so much more grateful for it. So something quite amazing. I was looking from the caravan before, and what happened right here at the dump point, one car arrived and another car arrived. The second car arrived was one of those big rams and the big boom muscle thing, and they both arrived at the same time. And the little caravan managed to get in here first. And remember, I said it's probably not the best etiquette to be standing next to each other and chatting. They were at loggerheads. Never come to fisticuffs, but it was a tense moment, I think. Managed to film a little bit, but I didn't want to get too involved in it. Again, try to keep away, let the people do their own thing, you do your own thing, and everyone will be happy. Well, sadly, the rules aren't always there just to annoy people who have got dogs, and there is a sign up here that there is a fine if the dog is off the leash. And the other thing is a bit of a sad situation last night. One of the dogs was off the leash and it got hit by a car. So I don't know what condition the dog is, but from what I can gather, it wasn't real good. So that's kind of sad for the person driving the car that hit the dog. It's also sad for the dog owner and for anybody else involved. You might want to think about whether you're going to have your dog off the leash. There you have it, a video all about etiquette. Now, I've just watched through the video. Hopefully you're not interpreting it as me preaching to you. I certainly am not. I just thought it might be nice to point out some of the etiquette things that we can use when we travel. That'll help us, and it'll hopefully also help our fellow travellers. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, 80% of my people watching videos have not. So here's a great opportunity. If you found the video useful, helpful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think the video is worth sharing, that too would be great. Until next time, this is Paul Will Drive signing off.